All right, all right, all right. So we've got 7 p.m. I think it's a good time to start this AMA. So firstly, uh, I will tell a few words about us. So we are Polish community, and we are focused uh, on gaining knowledge from really experienced people and builders from this area, from the crypto. And also we want to navigate better on this very different market like cryptocurrency, and just be better investors. So it is really nice to have you here. uh,
Yeah, thank you so much for inviting me to this event. I'm very pleased to meet all of you. Just to give you all a brief introduction of who I am. So my name is Christian. I'm the biz dev lead for Hera Finance. So I just wanted to throw that out there, and happy to answer any questions you have. I understand the markets are a little turbulent these days, but we always believe in building first. All right, so
yes, that's great, that's great. So Hera Finance, I remember when you first launched, I was big supporter for the metis ecosystem, and still I think that it's really good place to be. But as we all know now, you are expanding, you are trying to do something different than you originally started to do. So can you tell us a few words? What is Hera Finance? Just the basic stuff, and what is your goal with this project?
yeah, so just to give you all like a brief overview what Hera Finance really represents. So it's pretty much a DEX aggregation service, but there's a few things about it that makes us quite different. So a lot of people in this industry or space have been discussing a lot about artificial intelligence recently. So we have no claims of being a decentralized AI, right? What we're actually offering is a DEX aggregation service that's planning to go multi-chain, that is going to give people a competitive edge when trading in terms of just the amount of capital efficiency they get or output because they're leveraging artificial intelligence. So the way we accomplish this is by using what we call Pathfinder technology. So this is powered by off-chain servers. So the technology term that a lot of people haven't really learned about yet is artificial intelligence as a service. So you have pretty much a backend that's pushing data into Web3 from Web2 that's doing roughly, on estimate, we're thinking close to 4.3 million calculations per 0.3 to 3 seconds to give people the maximum output on their trade when they swap on the chain that they're on. So what this does from a business standpoint, of course, is it gives us the ability to actually implement a revenue model. So inside of DeFi, we've seen tax fee economics been thrown out. You know, you swap, someone charges 5%, 6%. They use that to fund their ecosystem. But the thing is that a lot of those businesses aren't revenue generating businesses. And to be quite honest, for us to host this artificial intelligence for the community, the crypto community at large, it is very expensive. So the way that we make this a profitable business model that creates a new economic layer of incentivization for all participants, especially the people that are trade mining, is that that difference in the output that is superior to what has been previously implemented gives us that ability to charge a 0.3% on the transaction, and that is distributed to the ecosystem. So people that are trade mining are going to receive that. This also gives us the ability to implement buybacks on the ecosystem's token, which essentially can give us the ability to also have basically the liquidity brought back into the organization. So we can grow the business by having revenue increasing by expanding to multiple chains. So that is basically how we have designed our business model. So the terms like real yield versus just like plain yield, there's a lot of discussions about this. It's a pretty heated topic. Honestly, most people, they don't realize it. They're investing in tokens that are just yield for the sake of yield, and they haven't really looked at the underlying business model that has been implemented, which can be really disastrous for an investment or any type of business in general. So those are just kind of like my high level comments on what Hera is really doing. There's a big roadmap I haven't even gotten into, but if you'd like to proceed, if that kind of answers that question for you, I'm happy to answer other questions.
Sure. We'll proceed all of this roadmap points in our conversation. But my concern is that I won't accuse you about something like you wanna gain some hype or something like that. But you know how it is in this crypto world. You've got some narration that are hot, that are sexy, and projects sometimes trying to gain attractions by joining this narrative, even if they don't even use this technology, or even if this technology isn't useful. But you trying to do this AI, and I think it is working for you in a marketing sense, and also I hope that it's gonna work for you in when project will operate. But isn't this just a trick, or this is gonna be really game changer for you or for the DEX aggregator to use this AI technology?
Oh yeah, so no, I get exactly what you're saying, and everyone has the right to be a little bit dubious of artificial intelligence. I'm not sure if the community here has seen some of the Twitter comments from Andre. There's a lot of different communities that actually have mixed opinions, and because artificial intelligence in general is so early, there's a lot of misinformation, a lot of misunderstanding for what it actually does. And I would say yes, like any company that just kind of randomly switches their tags to AI, yeah, I mean, I would steer clear of that. That could really be a cash grab. And to be quite honest, when we talk about Hera, even when I discuss with the developers some of the technologies, I am in biz dev, right? So when I try to learn this, I try to kind of explain it in a way that people can understand. And that's very important. Now, to get to the question at hand about Hera, really, it's just like the proof is in the pudding, right? So what we plan on doing, even if you don't believe in the AI, right? Even if you don't believe in it, even if you might think it's magic, really, when you have output that is best in class and it beats the competition, right? You're going to wonder, how is that possible, right? You're going to wonder, how did they accomplish that? What did they do? Now, you can choose to believe or not if it was artificial intelligence, but at the end of the day, when it happens over and over again and the output continues to get better and better over time as the trained model learns, people will start to kind of understand what's happening, right? So that's kind of how I view it. Hopefully that makes sense.
Sure, yes. I gotcha. So coming back to this Powered Pathfinder, so this technology, so what the advantages of that? It will give users like better rates, faster trades, and also it will be good for the tokenomics of the project. Do I understand this right?
Yeah, these are all valid points for sure. So like all of these things that are connected to the Pathfinder technology do enable better tokenomics, better output, and really it's how this ecosystem is going to grow. It's leveraging artificial intelligence, right, that is hosted off chain to do that.
And also there is also AI helping manage treasury. Can you tell us more about that?
Right. So the way that our treasury model is pretty much set up is that every single chain is going to have its own treasury. And what happens is, after specific periods of time, all of the treasury revenue that is collected is forwarded to the home treasury and metis ecosystem, right? So once that is done, we have an AI vault manager that is doing data analytics on all the chains, how much revenue, how much trade volumes being procured, what types of fees we're collecting, what's coming in, and then it's going to make recommendations essentially on what it does with that, right? So currently inside of our documents page, we have some information that discusses the fee distribution model, right? So there, of course, is about half of it, which is going to go back to the ecosystem, right? To host the AI, build it, marketing, etc. The other half, of course, is going to be allocated to trade miners, the people that are committing to the platform. And as I briefly mentioned earlier, that's what gives us the ability to do buybacks, for us to have organizationally owned liquidity, things like that. That's all because of that economic layer that is created by the advantage of AI. Without it, how could you ever really charge a fee on a swap and be competitive, right? Your output would be less, right? So that's why it's possible.
All right. So we know that I think your biggest competitor will be 1inch, and 1inch is quite long on this market, and they have really a big base of users. So can you tell us what is your advantage? Why you are gonna be better? And from the user perspective, I know that this AI is something new and something that market haven't seen yet. But from the perspective of user, will it be something different?
Yeah. So to kind of really wrap people into the narrative that's happening right now, they have to kind of understand the underlying tokenomics model, of course, how we're leveraging AI, and what this real yield is going to do for the people that are actually participating. So there's going to be two subsets of end users, right? We're going to have end users that are just simply trading on the platform. They're not participating in trade mining. They're going to be getting better output, high majority of the cases, right? And over time, it's going to increase, right, as the artificial intelligence learns. So those are the subset of users that are using that front end, right? The other subset, of course, which the people that are receiving the real yield, those are the people that are committed to the ecosystem and they're rewarded for such commitment. So I would say, as far as the integrations lists, we are planning on integrating 27 different primary applications, one of which is GMX. I know we have Camelot or Grail is like another one that's pretty popular right now that's being integrated. We have 14 sub integrations. From the tests that we've done with just a subset of the list of the whole set, right? We've had first place output, right, in comparison to 1inch, right? And these are on our tests with not even using the entire integrations list. So really, at the end of the day, it's just a matter of if people really want to get the most for their money when they're swapping or not, right? And we don't really have any other angle in terms of compete, like how we're going to compete. We're just going to compete by offering a superior product and having it available to as many people as possible, right? So that's how we kind of view the different DEX aggregation services. There's, of course, like DeFi Llama. There's going to be places where people can see like the output comparisons, right? I'm pretty sure we're getting added there. So once things kind of evolve and Hera is on Arbitrum, there's going to be kind of like the Pepsi challenge, or that's really how I view it. It's just how do people want to interact with DeFi, right? There's a lot of options, but it's very clear when you get the most out of what you're doing, that's what you pick.
Sure, I think like good rates and good user experience is the most important, and sometimes even user experience is more important than the rates, because every few dollars here or there on the network, on the transaction fee, we don't count this very much. So going forward, do you have in plans to implement limit orders? Because I think that's a really important case.
Yes. So on our roadmap, of course, we do have those things in mind, but really there's a bigger problem in crypto that we're trying to solve, and it's actually connected to layer 0. So what we're planning on doing is solving the issue of basically segregated liquidity and crypto tribalism by implementing a variant of it's not quite the Delta algorithm, but it's going to be an alternative to that. That's going to essentially give people universal access to liquidity And then also as far as just like UI UX, we totally understand the importance of that as well. The experience has to be smooth. It has to be fast and responsive. So with our Pathfinder upgrade, that's going to be a big thing that's going to improve latency or response times. Also in terms of just like how are people going to navigate liquidity in this space, we have to solve a lot of these underlying problems by implementing new technology. So really, like when people look at our roadmap and they see cross-chain swaps and they see some of the stuff that they've already heard of before, it really hasn't been shown to these people yet. A new way, like it's like this new way that we're going to implement it, it hasn't been done yet. And there's definitely going to be more details on that down the road. Of course, this is like latter parts of like the roadmap, but it is very important to us. We want to have people using the best software possible and have the most equitable and smooth experience as possible when using Hera.
Can you tell us more about Hera Guard? What is it and how does it work?
Yeah, so Hera Guard is really your own personal bodyguard when swapping. And what I mean by that is when you swap with Hera, you're protected from a lot of different things that people that are trading on isolated AMMs normally experience, such as like bots, sandwich attack bots. You also have the zero slippage model. So what this does is it enables for you to really get the most output as possible and to also avoid some of the more malicious things that people have created in the DeFi space that kind of just lines their pockets when people trade, right? It's kind of like grifting technology, like how these Arb bots are like these, sandwich bots are going after people when they're trading. So that's really what Hera Guard does.
All right, this is very useful for users for sure. Can you tell me how big is Hera Finance team, and are you based in one country or this is international team?
Oh, so our Hera team is international. We have one resident AI expert, also the co-founder. He's a previous Ethereum core developer. Then we have two side developers that are helping us. But the main two developers are located in Turkey, right? And then we also have people in biz dev, such as myself. I'm located in the US, inside of DC. We have also community manager people that are involved. And I do believe one of our content creators is located in Poland as well. So it's an international team. I wouldn't say it's the largest team ever, but we do have people on the whole team that are very experienced and they've been in the space for a long time. And we kind of view quality over quantity in terms of just all things.
So how many people is in the team?
So there's a few people I can't disclose, but I would say close to a dozen people.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
And I want to ask you about the revenues on expenses, because we know that most of the project, they live from the tokens. And do you have any revenue stream that will come from the fees or something like that that can cover all the company expenses, or this is just selling token that it is for the team?
Right. So our revenue model, of course, over time is going to expand to be more multifaceted. So from the fee distribution and the fee collection from the swaps, that is what is going to be able to pay for, of course, the artificial intelligence hosting. It's what's going to pay for the real yield. It's what's essentially distributing all of this stuff to the people that are in the ecosystem. On our website, you can see that we've, at the time of that update, which was a little bit ago, the figures are a bit higher now. We have processed $142 million in trade volume, right? So right now, if you look at that and you compare that to other exchanges, of course, you're like, hey, like it's the numbers, the big scheme of things, not like very large, but the idea is that with the expansion to all ecosystems, the business model that we're providing, the service that we're providing, that revenue we believe will grow exponentially, and in turn will increase many of these facets of the company, right? So as we expand to different chains, right, of course, our artificial intelligence hosting becomes more expensive because they have to scale it up per chain. But all of that is offset by the increased liquidity, right, that we're tapping into, the increased broader market, the increased user base, right? That transitively equals more revenue, right? And really, that's what we want. We want to socialize revenue. Like, we're like probably, I don't know how many exchanges are really like into doing stuff like that. I think most of them just want to like take everybody's money, but we actually want to give back to the community, to the ecosystem. And that's why at the bottom right of our page, we have hashtag build respect, right? Like this is like something that is really important to us. Like we have like deeply grained ethics into what we're building. And we're actually honestly really tired of how a lot of these other people are running their crypto exchanges, their decentralized exchanges, like their business models. It's not equitable. We want to change that.
Okay, that seems good. So when is gonna be Arbitrum, and what another chain will you integrate, and why this is Arbitrum, that this is your first destination and not Ethereum?
This is a very good question. So we've done some studies on Arbitrum. There are some articles that show that Arbitrum processes roughly 62% of the DeFi transactions of the entire like Ethereum ecosystem. Like when you kind of like incorporate all the other layer 2s and compare it to layer 1s. We do believe that it's a very important first step for our business. We have many other chains that are EVM compliant, of course, like Binance Smart Chain. We want to expand to Optimism. We have other things such as Avalanche, Phantom that are there. But really what I think also people don't understand too about like Hera's scope is that we actually have the ability, because our like lead dev, he's fluent in Rust. So we can expand to like non-EVM chains. So I'm not sure if you've heard of like Aptos or Sui or some of these other chains that are kind of blossoming and like coming out of nowhere and entering the DeFi space. These are all chains that we will be able to provide our DEX aggregation service to in the future, right? So, but right now, of course, Arbitrum, we believe, is definitely the best first step for us. And we want to show people with this that our use case works, right? And after that, the business model, it's scalable, right? So Pathfinder version 2.5, the whole idea was adjusting Pathfinder to be dynamically scalable, or AI to be scalable. And then once we have that done, it's going to make adding new chains a lot easier, and it's going to be coming a lot faster, right? Basically, the succession of how we're adding them, the timelines are going to speed up a bit. So that's definitely what we have stored for at least like this first step. But there's going to be a lot of exciting things that are coming. I can't talk about all of it yet, but definitely this is what we're planning on doing first.
And do you think that you will be able to implement to all EVM chains that you've got in the docs, that it's Arbitrum, Avalanche, BNB, Ethereum, Phantom, and Optimist this year, or this is gonna take longer?
So by Q2, we plan on getting roughly 5. I think our number's 5, right? Mm-hmm. That's what we're aiming for. So 5 total. Right, but of course, depending on certain things, you know, that number can fluctuate a bit. But we're aiming for 5. So starting in Q2, we're going to be getting into other things as well.
All right, that seems good. We know that sometimes it's in crypto, it's really hard to be on a date, and sometimes they are delayed.
Oh yeah, I mean mostly. That's how software. I mean that's like the standard for software, right? But no, we're really working really hard to get everything done on this timeline. Like these devs, like we kind of laugh about it, but it's like these devs, like in Turkey, they're dealing with the earthquake. They're coding 10+ hours a day. They have done this for 13 months straight. and they haven't taken a single day off. Like our main AI guy, he's joking. He's like, my hair is turning gray. It's falling out. Like these guys are really like they want to make it to the market and they want this done and they believe in it. And that's why I believe in them. That's why I'm here today to share this with all of you. It's like I've never seen people code like this at this level, like of commitment. And I've worked with a lot of different people. So
Jesus, man, give me some vacation.
Yeah, I know they're joking. I was like, once we go on ARB, like we're gonna disappear for a week. You guys deal with it. It's like we got to take a vacation. I'm like, it's like you guys need one. Like I'm telling you. So I'm looking forward to them getting that launched, so that they can take a vacation. They deserve it, really.
Yes, for sure, man. Because they can just, I don't know, they will go crazy if not too many hours in front of the screen.
Yeah.
True soldiers. So we got here in our community a few believers, a few hodlers of the Hera token. So all of them have the same question: when CEX, when Binance, maybe when Kraken, KuCoin. Do you have plans?
So I will say this: we have been in open conversations with some very reputable exchanges. We are working on a few things right now. We've applied for some grants. We're out there right now. So right now it's more in just the discussion phase right now. We can't disclose anything at the moment in terms of centralized exchanges, but of course that is something that we are working on from a biz dev side. We're actively pursuing that. We got our ears to the train tracks in terms of just like what's going on in the space, and we're definitely starting to meet new people. We have some good contacts. So as those updates are made available, of course, we'll tweet about it. We'll share it in our Telegram. That's also another great place to keep up to date with what's going on with Hera. We also have a Discord channel as well.
When you will be on the Arbitrum, do you have in plans to put your liquidity on Camelot, like a lot of new projects on Arbitrum does?
So this is actually an open discussed topic within our organization right now, and I know there's some people that have been talking about, well, are you all wrapping Hera? Are you all doing this? And I will say I can't give a formal response on that at this moment in time. I can say from a business standpoint and like a long-term standpoint, we want our like liquidity to be on layer 0, right? We want it to be universal liquidity, right? When I talk to Yasin and he explains to me about like ERC20 tokens, he's like, I want Hera, and I think Hera will redefine how people view an ERC20 token, right? Those are his words, not mine. I believe in him though. So when he tells me things like that, that's what I stick to, right? So I can't promise that we're going to have any wrapped tokens on Arbitrum. I do understand from a technological standpoint, bridging, that's a whole nother thing, right? Navigating bridging, setting up RPCs on wallets. I do believe on metis ecosystem, they're working on some pretty good ZK technology right now. It's all really early, but we're definitely going to keep you all up to date if we do plan on wrapping any tokens or putting liquidity on different networks.
All right. So going back to tokenomics, so can you tell us what is the utility of this Hera token?
Yeah, definitely. So the utility is multifaceted. So when you look at most tokens that people hold, and some exchange tokens, they're just governance tokens, right? They don't actually tap into an actual revenue source that is socialized. So what we plan on doing actually is implementing a DAO, right? Decentralized autonomous organization for this whole community, right? So that they can participate on important matters regarding Hera with proposals. And of course, kind of back to what we were talking about with the real yield, the trade mining, all of that stuff, that's all facilitated by people that are committing, right, to our trade mining platform to essentially get a part of all of the revenue, right, that we're collecting from all of these chains and bringing back to this treasury that the vault manager is going to allocate, right, in different ways. So this is how Hera is a bit different, right, than I would say a lot of the other token models. Now, also our max token supply, of course, 10 million tokens. Right now, a little over 3 million tokens are in the market, and I believe over 30% of those are staked. I do know that inside of like the committed trade mining platform, that number's been growing over time, right? So I see that number growing as people realize what they're actually getting. I think also too, there's a lot of misconception about what people are getting in terms of yield, right? A lot of times they see these like high rates and they're attracted to it. There's a lot of forks of Solidly. There's a lot of things that are really just like repeats, and they just spin them off on different networks. And Hera is a bit different than that. We're not a fork, right? So we're building unique technology. So really what Hera token represents is a bit more also, I would say, this DEX aggregation. There's going to be a lot more. There's going to be a lot more.
You said that you are a real yield project. So in which token are you gonna pay those yields? Is it gonna be in Hera or some stablecoin, maybe?
It is in Hera. So what happens is from the fee collection and the treasury, we're injecting that into the trade mining platform. That increases, right, the rates of people that are receiving Hera, right? So that percentage will go up and down based on a few parameters. So when more people are participating in trade mining, of course, the amount of Hera that is distributed goes down. But with those injections of the real yield, right, it fluctuates. So a lot of it is determined by the revenue that's being collected, also by the amount of participation, right? So we have this pretty unique model of design for the inflation of Hera to come out at a very healthy pace, right, for people that are participating to be getting something that is backed by a business that collecting revenue that's actually pretty profitable. So this is really what we're planning on doing. And really, I think when it comes to like just the education in this space, we want people to understand that when people offer you yield and they offer you tokens for just putting your tokens somewhere, really look at the underlying of where those tokens are coming from and if they're backed by any, because a lot of the times they're just handing them out just to be there, right? So just be careful of that.
So we still have a few millions of token to release to the market. So can you tell me this inflation, where it comes from? Is it gonna be from seed, private sale, or this is mostly just I don't know, liquidity mining, something like that?
Yeah. So of course we have a lot of people that come into our telegrams trying to sell us stuff, marketing, all types of grifters, right? We are not selling anything OTC, right? Except in the very beginning, of course, when we had our private seed and public sale, right? That was like how people would have participated before things went to the stage it was at now. All of those tokens have been online since Q4 of last year. So now there's just that 36-month linear vesting period with team equity, and of course that DAO that we have, which is that treasury of 4 million Hera, that's going to be determined by that decentralized autonomous organization, right, through a vote, what we're going to use that for. I mean, honestly, the DAO could just be like, hey, let's burn all the tokens, let's reduce the supply, like max supply to 6 million, or let's save some for incentivization, let's do something. There's a lot. That's the beauty of having this as a DAO, is that we can have that token supply built in a very healthy light that everyone, at least like the majority, agrees upon, and hopefully everyone will agree upon. Now, as far as like just rates of inflation, like leading into 2025, it's going to take time. I think we'll be at around 5 million unlocked by then, but the majority of it's going to be coming from the trade mining. That's where really like all of it's going to be coming from. And to this date, the team, even with some of like the linear vested tokens that have been unlocked, not a single token's been sold. They have no plans of selling these tokens. That they're in it for the long run. The team really, I've never seen people as committed as they are to this ecosystem.
Gotcha. Can you tell us what are the biggest challenges in building DEX Aggregator?
I would say some of the biggest challenges for building DEX Aggregator is really, so when you have different decentralized exchanges, a lot of the time their swap platforms have different algorithms, right, that are utilized to determine liquidity, to determine different things. Uniswap created like X times Y equals K. You have different equations. And really when it comes to the very complex like integrations, right, that you have with all these different like isolated AMMs or applications, is that, for example, it's like we want to put GMX in, we have to implement their algorithm into the kernel. And then we also have to have essentially all of that kind of fit into this artificial intelligence model that is pushing data. And also in general, yes, we understand it, like DEX aggregation isn't like just DEX aggregation isn't a new thing. And when you look at the history of software in general, like people have remembered in years past, Yahoo, they had the opportunity to acquire Google and they didn't, and they didn't realize how engaging, right? And really that's in a way aggregation is very similar to search engines, because what they're doing is they're just searching, right? They're searching different networks, different liquidity pools for the best results with a page rank. And having artificial intelligence that gives you an edge is really awesome. So I think that's really the difficulty. The difficulty, I would say, is like if you're doing DEX aggregation, you have to decide what networks are important, what networks are underserved, what communities really need it, and also just how do you stay relevant? How do you offer something that other people aren't, right? How do you have a competitive advantage? So with new technology, that's really the only way to stay relevant. It's the natural progression of software through composability. You take what you've learned from the past, you see what's out there that's new, you apply what's new, and it creates new regenerative economic models. It creates a lot of different things that people didn't know existed before, right? And that's really how I feel about it.
Can you tell us what is your marketing strategy and how will you onboard new users to your platform?
So our marketing strategy, of course, is pretty straightforward in terms of like our ethos of it is organic, right? We love people that will comment about us and be like, wow, like this experience was great. This is why, right? Now, of course, there's a lot of different options out there. There's marketing agencies, there's all types of stuff. People, let's put a billboard up somewhere. Really, at the end of the day, building something that gives people the best service possible and organic conversations about that topic, we believe is like the best angle and natural angle on marketing. We're not really trying to shill anything to anyone, because really at the end of the day, we want to just only provide information that the discerning investor, the discerning software Web3 user, those people just make the right choice, right? And in turn, that naturally grows our awareness, and it's the right type of awareness. I feel like if anyone has ever had someone knock on their door, like they try and sell them something, you just immediately you're like, why are you here? You know? So yeah, I mean, there's a balance, and of course, over time, you'll have some bigger names commenting, and really that's all it takes. All it takes is just that one yes, or that one person to comment on basically a radical new technology that changes the space, and the rest is history, right?
Sure. Yes. When I see all those projects from Web3 on the website, there is no advertisement at all. So I think that for the project like you guys, when you onboard a lot of users, this could be really good. Another stream of revenue. What do you think about something like that, to place advertisements on the, for example, Hera Finance apps, and get another stream for the project, for the team, and for example, that could be some company that is specialized in Web3 advertisement, and they using blockchain for all this infrastructure.
That is a slippery slope, because from one angle, of course, you can generate potentially more revenue, but you have to also think about what advertisements are coming onto that screen. And of course, we can't protect everybody from everything, right? Hera Guard can only do but so much. Giving people information on how to have sound investments, or like how to judge software, it only goes but so far, right? And when you start kind of getting into these advertising models, I mean, like think about Facebook, right? Like if you think about Facebook, it used to just be kind of like servicing colleges, like, and then eventually it turned into like this advertising platform. Of course, they made a ton of money, but really like what they were doing, like their business model had evolved or changed, like, so they had to stay relevant. I don't think Hera would ever really have to explore such types of like strategies to increase our revenue model. Now, of course, like when it comes to just like multifaceted revenue streams, I know with like metis ecosystem, we get builder rewards. So the more people that use it, we're distributing that to our trade miners, right? And I know there's some stuff on the horizon with ETH Shanghai and beacon chain unlocks and a lot of liquid staking derivatives. Our research team, of course, see, the thing is about Hera is that our research team is looking at a lot of stuff, right? Now, a lot of people think when you get into a DEX aggregation platform, or you hold a token, that it's just for that one thing, right? So just want to keep in mind that everyone knows that Hera Labs is looking at everything that they can, right? We're looking constantly to see how we can leverage artificial intelligence, right, to create new sources of revenue, right? How we can leverage the space to give people more equitable usage of DeFi, right? So all these things have to kind of align.
That was basically all of my questions. So can you tell us maybe, is there anything else on your roadmap, or something that we should talk about here, some new features maybe, and or important implementation that you will place on the Hera app?
I will say that we do plan on having some UI UX updates. I think those will be nice in terms of just like the Pathfinder speed, right? In terms of like how fast you're getting that output value, so you know if this is the swap that you want to do, that's going to be improved, right? We're expanding to multiple chains. A lot of the topics in terms of just how Hera is an ecosystem that's self-regenerative, it leverages artificial intelligence as a service, a lot of different things that most AI tokens aren't doing. They're claiming other things, but they're not doing what we're doing. That's very clear. I think hopefully this conversation has made that for everyone to understand that. And I would say just, yeah, like the big thing I would really look forward to for people is them to see that universal liquidity that we're looking on, right? So layer 0, leveraging technology that people haven't seen yet. there's some good stuff down the road. And of course, like, we can't discuss some of the things that haven't been listed on the website. I've already kind of thrown out a little bit. It's kind of Easter egg stuff regarding just the cross-chain swaps. We haven't really defined a lot of that to the public yet. So this is some new information as well.
Oh, that's great. Some alphas are always nice to hear. Yeah, that's great. So yeah, that was all. That was all from us, and it was really nice to have you here. That was a really interesting conversation, and we really wish you the best. And I think that it's gonna be good for us users to have another competitor for the one-inch and all old aggregators.
Yeah, once again, thank you all for having me. If you do have any questions, follow-up questions, please join the community. It's very entertaining, to say the least. You might see some images you might have to scroll past quickly if you go to the trade Telegram. But other than that, yeah, cheers, guys and gals.
Sure. So yeah, have a good night and see you around.
Take care.